Now that you've created a meeting in Zoom, you need to invite the attendees. So what you need to do is open a browser and go to the address bar and type in the web address for Montgomery College's Zoom. So it's montgomerycollege.zoom.us. When you do that, you'll be directed to their sign-in page and you select Sign In. From there, you should be redirected to the MyMC homepage and you simply enter your user ID and password. This should redirect you back to your Zoom profile page. So you're essentially logging into Zoom via MC, and that's a fail-safe that ensures you're using the correct Zoom account. So from here, on the left-hand side where you have your table of contents, let's call it, you've got all of these things you can select. You are interested in inviting people to the meeting you've created, so you want to click on Meetings. You'll note that on this page, we have all of the occurrences of my Summer Session 2 English 101 class. I created a recurring meeting in Zoom, and now I need to invite the attendees. So from here, you simply click on the hyperlink for the first session. I just default to the first because it's easier. And when you do, you'll be redirected to the space where you created and saved the recurring meetings. You can just take a quick look and make sure that your time is correct, that your days are correct, and the end date's also there. You can take a look at your meeting password if you need to. You can show it or hide it. I usually don't bother with that too much in terms of showing or hiding. There is an invitation link which you're going to need for this particular video. Just double checking that when the host and participant first enter the meeting, their video will be off and their audio can be used via telephone or computer audio. Remember, some students may end up having a laptop issue and might want to still come to class, which you should encourage them to do, and they'll join by telephone. You'll see their name in Zoom, but you won't be able to see their faces unless they decide to use their camera app on their phone. When you scroll down, the meeting options that we should have selected for college Zoom meetings are that participants are muted upon entry. So when they come into the meeting, you don't hear the background noise in their space. If they're speaking to someone, you don't hear that because it can be a little distracting to hear 20 to 25 people talking at one time. And you also want them to be in the waiting room. And this just means that when they log into the meeting, they'll get a message that says, please wait for the host to allow you to join. And there's no complicated thing with respect to you allowing them to join. You come in and you start the meeting, and they will be moved from the waiting room into the meeting. So don't overthink that or worry. Now, let's go back up. Let's scroll to the invite link. So just so you get a visual, here's the top of the page with the web address. Here are your meetings. Here's the time, the meeting ID, and the meeting password. But I'm going to scroll up so you can actually see the invite link. So there are one of two things you can do. If you don't want a lot of fuss, you can simply highlight the invite link. You want the whole thing from HTTPS to the final, usually it's a number. So from there, you can right-click on it. You don't want to open it. You simply want to copy the link address, or I almost always default to just copying. So you click copy, and this is now copied to your computer clipboard. So if you go into your email or to an MS Office document and you paste this, the link will show up. You can also, if you want to copy it without right-clicking because you're concerned you're going to open the link, use your control button. So the control button, there are two of them. There should be one, though, on the left-hand side, which I use because I'm right-handed. CTRL, you hold that down at the same time you hold down the letter C for copy. Control C is the same as copying by right-clicking. You can then open your email or again your MS Office document or whatever you're using, and you can paste that. So I'm going to actually open my email and show you guys what this looks like. So this is my desktop email. I'm not using the cloud version, and all that means is I'm not logged into my email via my MC. I actually have a desktop version that looks like the version on my desktop in my office with a little bit less functionality. So when I click on it, it'll open up, and you will see I've got this nice lovely desktop version of my email. So from here you can create a new message, and in the body of the email you can type a message to the students. Greetings. Below, please find the Zoom link to access our class. Now, you see I pasted that, and I did it by simply using my control button, CTRL, and V as in Victor. So control V lets you paste. I'm going to actually delete this and show you that another way you can paste that is by coming up to Insert. Actually staying in your message. My apologies for that. So stay in your message and coming to Paste. And Paste will give you a number of options. You can keep the source formatting, which means the font size and type will look the same way it did in Zoom. Or you can merge the formatting so that it will look like the font type and size that you have in your email. And my default font type and size is Times New Roman. Or you can come here and it will only have the text. If you keep the text only, it removes that hyperlink option, and students can't click on the link to access the meeting, but they can copy it and paste it in a URL browser. So it's up to you what you prefer. I like my stuff to be the same font type size, so I normally select merge formatting. And there you have it. Now you'll notice that there is no one in the to line, so you would need to actually have the name and the address or email address for every student and have to type those in. It's a little bit irritating, but I'll explain to you guys how to get all their addresses there more easily. Right now I just want you to focus on how you invite them to the meeting. If you use the option of simply copying the link, you have to also give them the password. And what I'm going to do is go back and scroll up, show my meeting password. I'm a fan of Control C. I'm going to copy it, return to my message, and paste the password. You'll know if you paste it, you'll notice if you paste it that it doesn't merge the formatting. So what you can do is come back like me and you can merge it this way. So now it's the same font type size. The only reason it looks a little bit different is because it's bold. Although it's kind of odd, that says Helvetica. So to make sure that it looks the way I want it to, I'm going to go ahead and make it Times New Roman 12-point font. So just make sure that if you use that option that you're very good at remembering to give them a password. They won't be able to enter the meeting. That's one way. My preference is to actually, in Zoom, copy the invitation. So here, if you click on copy the invitation, you'll get a pop-up window. If you don't get a pop-up window, it might be because you have your pop-ups blocked, and that's a simple thing you can change. So don't panic if you don't see the window. It probably means you have blocked your pop-ups. You're just going to have to go back and allow them from this Zoom page. So you can copy this meeting invitation one of two ways. You can come over here to where it says your name, and you can highlight the whole thing. And then you can do your trusty right-click copy or your Control-C copy. Or if you don't want to do that because you think you might forget to actually capture all of this information, simply click Copy Meeting Invitation. Okay, it copies it for you, and it tells you Copy to Clipboard. And the clipboard is just your cloud clipboard. Okay, so now this is out there as the last thing you copied, and that URL link has been replaced by this. So you can leave this open, it's not a big deal, and go back to your email and create a new message. From here, come into the body of your message and say, "Greetings. Below, please find the Zoom information to access our classes." I'm saying classes for a reason. So I'm going to put a colon and do an enter. And then I'm going to come up to paste. And here I'm going to paste keep text only. And don't panic about things looking different. And you'll notice that it's actually pasted my entire invitation. So I like to give the students a little visual because some students need their eyes drawn to everything. So I don't need them to see Courtney Johnson has invited you. I'm going to delete that. They know it's me, email's coming from me. And I can leave the topic there. What I love about this as opposed to just copying the URL and giving them the password is it tells them when we begin, tells them what time, and it tells them that we're meeting every week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday until August 20th. And then it lists all 18 occurrences. So if a student says, "Well, I didn't know when we were going to meet," you did. It's right here in the email. So that's a real nice backup for you to have. I like to scroll down, and with the last occurrence, I want to enter, so I have a space. The students don't need, in my opinion, all this extraneous stuff. I think it just distracts them, distracts me. So I take those two things out. Now, here is the information on how to join the meeting, and it includes the password. So I actually am going to select this part, and I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to use my Control button and the letter X, Control X. And then up here, I'm going to put that information right below the topic. And then I want to scroll down, and I want to take the password out, and I'm going to Control X to cut that. And I'm going to put that here, Control V to paste it. Now I'll come down and just make sure that this looks a little bit neat. I don't really care if they have the meeting ID, but I'll leave it there. I'll leave the one-tap mobile. A lot of the students are really savvy and they know how to use the tap mobile to log in or to dial by location. I kind of just leave all this stuff right there, and then I make it look a little bit prettier with some color. We'll talk about that in the next session.